Do, 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 do. This isn't looking positive. Uh, Come on, guys. Right, now I've done that. Welcome everybody to round 13 of the SLR 2 Championship, and today brings us to Spa-Francorchamps in Belgium for round 13, and hopefully we can get a really nice race out of it. We've got 14 drivers on the grid today. We've got some pretty decent drivers, so I'm hoping for a bit of a... Oh, Justin's already crashed. Why does that not surprise me? He did say it crashed at the top of Radion, and he has, so that lasted long for him. Reminds me of me in Azerbaijan. But yeah, I'm back as well. I've managed to get an afternoon off work, so we're back for tonight, and I'll be back next week as well. So 2 weeks. As we've got a few different drivers. Obviously Ben, you'll know, he's racing in Tier 2 tonight, giving it a go. As he wanted to, he's been asking for God knows how long to race, so I've given him an opportunity. But my tip for pole position will be MVP Dusty. He's the one to really be catching. He's the fastest driver in my opinion on the grid. Yeah, we've still got Bera, championship leader, and Alfred Jensen, and people like that who could possibly do something. Mocky Meeks is no slouch, but we're on board with Dusty now, going into the first sector, the end of it anyway, and he's on the ultra soft tyres, riding as many curbs as he can. Looks like he's using all the track and a bit more, locking up into I can't remember what that corner is, and then the corner with no name, taking all the exit road you can possibly get. And now into Pouon. He's using 6th gear, which is fairly surprising, and that probably invalidated his lap, but I thought it was 7th easy in these cars. It definitely was last year, and Dusty now coming round to the final few corners of the lap as he goes through the high speed section of I can't remember, Bonjamon, and then we've got the bus stop. I don't know, I keep forgetting what corner names. Since the amount of laps I've done around this track, I should know, but now into the bus stop. Nicely in second. It looks a bit slow to me. The untrained eye, and it really is a bit slow, as he's done a 44.6, which isn't anything special. Did anyone come attend the lap? Here comes Mystic Man. And he comes across the line and he goes to pole position with 42.9 ahead of Dusty by a lot, quite a lot. There's Ben Gallagher does a 47.8. He knows he can do a lot better than that. He's on the supers. Mystic Man was on the supers as well, so that's not a bad lap by Mystic Man. As Mocky Meeks on the super softs also goes on a 43.4. So there's anyone further down who's doing their lap. We're going to keep an eye on Berra. Berra's the one really to keep an eye out of the person who can challenge for pole. Also Alfred Jensen, who's a little bit more further around the lap, so we'll see what he can do. I'm not sure if he's using his assists today or not, because he's been practicing without them. Do you know, if he does actually win the championship, then he'll have to turn them off if he wants to do Tier 1 next season. And in chicane, and actually he's lost DRS, not DRS, he's lost his ERS system at the end of that lap there. So maybe that'll be a big thing to play a part of this quali session, because they ran out of ERS at the end of the lap. And Barrett, oh, we've got Muggin in the wall. And I think he may have lost half from wing from that. Barrett only managed a 45.4. So really, except for Mucky Meeks and Mystic Man, there's no one really else out there who's done any sort of decent lap. But here goes Knuffle, who's up on his time. He's getting a bit of slipstream from Mystic Man. I don't know why he's not using 8th gear. That sort of confuses me. But we'll see in a second. As he crosses the line now, as he does a 44.1 on the soft tyres to go P3. So we're waiting for everybody to actually set a half decent lap. Obviously I know Dusty can do something rather special compared to what he's done now, as he passes Edgar at the top of the hill with a bit of slipstream. Elmo's yet to do a decent lap as well. Berra's halfway around the lap. I think he's taking it steady though. Muggin's not anywhere, so we'll keep an eye on Dusty, who's slowed. So obviously he hasn't had a great lap. It doesn't look like Alfie's having the best of time out there either. So we'll keep an eye on Berra. As he, obviously the championship leader, as he's been for a very long time, will be coming across the line fairly shortly. Well, he isn't, he's coming into the pits, as I'm looking at my phone. Packy G has managed to get himself to P5. But yeah, I'm expecting all the action to happen really near the end of the session, when it's squeaky bum time and you've got to do that decent lap. Obviously we've got Skin Up now coming out, so he's someone who also can make stuff happen. Obviously he's run a race in Tier 2 Austria. My commentator on that was a great finish, and hopefully we can have another one like that. A nice close battle. But at the minute it's looking quite spread out. It's Ben Gallagher who's gone for a little bit of a spin on his outlap. And it looks like everyone's in the pits. Mystic Man and Rocky Meeks are coming out for their second runs on them supers. Package is down. No more, so we're sort of in a period of where we're just waiting for stuff to happen. So we'll go on board with Skin Up here, as he's heading up Rouge and then into Radion, and onto the Camel Straight he goes in his Force India. Hasn't really showed the Skin Up of old as in the beginning of the season, where he actually won a race. Obviously I said it, Austria, really close finish, closest Tier 2 finish, so let's put it that way, as he goes into the middle sector on them soft tyres. It's interesting to see the tyre compounds actually of what people start on, because some people have gone ultras, soapers, and there's obviously a few soft runners out there. I'm pretty sure they're the tyre compounds. No, medium, softs, and supers. Should I say? There's no ultras. I got mixed up. This is a disadvantage of having a smaller TV screen. You can't even see. But Skin Up now. He's starting to come round into the final sector now on them soft tyres. And yeah, everyone will be supporting the Dutch fans. So obviously Berra, championship leader, he's Dutch. I think Edgar is Dutch, and I think Dusty. I'm not sure if Dusty is actually Dutch, but he did have a Dutch flag at one point. But Skin Up now is going to come across the line. It looks like a fairly decent lap from Skin Up. To be fair, on the soft, so 43.6 isn't horrific. So that puts him into P3. Had a Knuffle. There's the qualifying will start to heat up now. I'm expecting everyone to close in on the lap time. There's Berra not starting his lap yet. So we've got Elmo, I think he's on a lap, so we'll keep an eye on him. He's won a couple of races this season as well in this championship. There's I think Ben Gallagher actually there with a 44.0 going into P4. And here comes Elmo as he comes across the line with a 33.9 just ahead of Ben. As that puts him a second off of pole position. As we'll look for people who are far down. Berra's really far down now, so he needs to pull a rabbit out of the hat. He said that he struggled at this track, but I was expecting he's still a little bit more than 45.4. And I think Santajustu wants to race tonight. As Mystic Man improves to a 42.7, so a nice lap from Mystic Man to improve. And his time to go 7/10 clear of Mocking Weeks. There's Skin Up on the soft tyre now, goes to 43.2 to get within half a second of Skin Up. Mystic Man. As we're waiting for the lights of Alfie Jensen and Berra to come across the line. Alfie's on his soft runs, so we'll see what he can manage on the middle of the two compounds as he comes across the line now, and it's a really bad lap for 44.1, and Berra does a 43.9, so he goes up to P4. Paki G is retired. As we've got Knuffle on a lap who's quite far down. Both of the Toro Rosso boys are usually up there in the top 5, and they're not quite reaching the expectations of what we usually see of them. As Knuffle now comes across the line with a 42.9 to go P2, 2/10 off of Mystic Man, should I say. So a really nice lap from him. Ben's in the pits. Berra's not on a good lap. Mocking Meeks the same. Berra is retired from session. I think he's on the medium tyres, so that's why he's called it. And that is not his finest moment, hitting the pit lane there from Chris. One person who I'm expecting a little bit more from is Dusty. I don't think he's quite got the lap yet, and that's why he's gone out quite early on. To hopefully he can get something going. Obviously he's been fairly dominant recently, with Berra not really putting anything together. Obviously Berra was the early leader, he ran away to begin with, but Dusty started to close him down. Same with Alfie. I think the championship lead's down to like 10 points or something, and it was like 60 or 70 at some point, so we'll have a look. I haven't actually had a look, so might be good. So the championship lead is down to 16 points between Alfie and Berra. Berra won last time out, actually. Dusty is in third with 128, so he's about 30 points off, 40 points off. But I'd still expect a little bit more from him. He's got quite a few poles at this point. I'm going to say the Hungarian driver, since he's got a Hungary flag, but I'm not 100% sure about that. As he looked really nice up a Rouge there into turn 1 as well, as he goes down the Camel Straight into Les Combes. Braking really late, turned in, looks very smooth indeed. On exit there, 5th gear, to lift slightly, but managed to get it stopped. And now into the corner, I can't remember. And the corner with no name, as he just flicks it in 5th gear on them soft tyres. And he'll definitely want to be doing more than 44.6 as he flakes it into Pouon, and that stuck a lot better than his first run, where he accidentally probably went into 6th. As he's got a bit of traffic here with Ben Gallagher. Ben should get out of the way, he does, although it looked like he was going to take him out for a second. As we go now into the final sequence of corners, as we go along the straight to go to Blongemont, which will be a flat out in 8th gear for Dusty. In these cars anyway, and then into the bus stop chicane. Let's see how late he dares to brake. Get it into the corner as quick as you can, get it out as quick as you can. Hopefully the power, it sticks as he comes now across the line. Dusty goes P2 with a 42.8, and that is more like it from him, as Mystic Man looks to have just edged everybody out on them. In the end, I think he was on supers with that lap. Dusty on the softs, but that is a good lap from Dusty. But Mystic Man looks like he's going to get pole position, and he'll be on, of course, to get a first SLR win. You know, in any, obviously in Tier 1 it's extremely competitive, so I don't expect it. He's probably not quite on the pace of the Fodbolts and Thoriums of the time, but in this league he certainly can make something happen. Especially with Skin Up retiring from the session. Alfie Jensen's the other person that we need to keep an eye on, but he is out of fuel. So that's the end of his session. Elmo could probably do a little bit more, and same Mocky Meeks is going for 1 lap. He's 3/10 down though on his current best. And apparently I think Barra had an incident with a keel. But we're going to keep an eye on Alfie Jensen. Not Alfie Jensen, Elmo should I say. As he'll come into the bus stop now. And I think, pretty sure Elmo's Hungarian. I'm not 100% sure. But Elmo now is going to come across the line. It's not going to be pole, but it's going to be a 43.0, which is a fairly respectable time. 3/10 off. So we've got 4 people within 3/10. That's not too bad at all. Fairly competitive at the front. And we'll see if Mocky Meets can improve, as he's really the only person that I think will improve. But Muggen goes to P11 with 45.0. Doesn't really get anywhere, and we've only got Akil and Mocky Meeks now, and Knuffle actually. I didn't notice, but that is very wide from him. There's Mocky Meeks, as Knuffle actually retires as he made a mistake. But here comes Chris, as he comes across the line, and he improved to a 42.9, which puts him in P4, extremely close at the front. As we've got the top 5 separated by 3/10 of a second, and that should make for an amazing race. The one person who, as I say that, Mystic Man comes across the line in his very last lap and improves again, and that is a nice progression from him. Improved by 4/10 across his 3 laps by the end of the second. So it's Mystic Man with a surprise pole position, to be honest. I mean, he's been up there, but nothing special so far, and that's his first pole position in SLR. And it'll be interesting to see if he can convert with Dusty in second, and Knuffle third, Mockingweeks fourth, and Elmo in fifth, rounding up the top 5. Yeah, I agree, I like Spa. It's really nice. But yeah, really close qualifying at the front of the grid. Shame about the rest, you know, Berra downwards. End up quite far away from the pole time in the end. But it should make up to a fairly close race at the front of the field. But the only person that is actually in the soft runners is Dusty at the front with 42.8. So that was a fairly impressive time. I'm wondering if he could probably get pole with a super soft run. Probably 3 or 4 tenths in it with supers. But yeah, it should make for a really interesting race. I'm hoping to have a good race. I don't want to be falling asleep in commentary. Same with Tier 1 later. I don't want to fall asleep in that race either. I want a really nice go out with a bang race. Clear my throat before I dry up. I always dry up in commentaries, so hopefully today will be a bit different. I think County just do wants to race in Tier 1 tonight. Hopefully. I need him. But yeah, my pre-race prediction, I'm still going to say Dusty's going to win this, but I'd love to see Mystic Man win a race. There's no secret I like Finnish drivers in general, so I like Mystic Man. So hopefully he'll win on my side, but it's going to be a really interesting one. Knuffle's capable. Mockingweeks hasn't won a race since Australia Season 2 in Tier 1, so it'd be really nice to see him have a bit of luck, as he's been really unlucky. He's been showing some actually really good pace, but yet to convert it. Elmo's been having some good races, Skin Up, and then Berra is capable, so I think anyone in the top 7 can win, in my eyes. So it makes for an interesting one. So please stay, and hopefully we can have a great one today, similar to Austria, hopefully. But we've got Ben in 8th, Alfie Jensen. You never know what you're going to get from Alfie. He can either win or bottle it, but he's P2 in the championship for a reason. And we've got Akil in 10th, Peak and Mugen, Edgar, and Justin will probably crash at some point. But we're going to have a look at the tyres that everybody's chosen as I get everything sorted. It's been so long since I've done this. So obviously the 4 of the top 5 have gone with supers, including Mockingweeks, Elmo, Knuffle and Mystic Man. I'm presuming it's going to be a super soft, super, and then the softs. I'm not 100% sure, actually I don't have a clue. Could be supers and mediums for all I know. Which pretty much takes the softs away from the equation, but it can do the overcut either way. It can Dusty, and then we've got Skin Up on the softs, Berra's on the medium, so he's going to go one stop with a supers at the end. So he's going to be really quick at the end. He'd be hoping to keep up in the first stint and then just fade it in the end with a really quick stint, and hopefully he'll be fairly up there. But knowing Berra's pace, he usually is. But yeah, they're all lining up now, except for Justin, who's I don't know what he's doing. If this is his pace, then he's in a bit of trouble, isn't he? But he's coming around now. We'll just wait for him. So this is the man on pole position in the Haas. Mystic Man, will he be able to convert to his first victory in SLR? We'll have to wait and find out. as we are now going to go to 5 red lights for the Belgium Grand Prix. And it's lights out and away we go. It's a good start from Mystic Man. It looks like Dusty has got a half decent start on the inside, but Knuffle is going to go down the inside. There's Alfred Jensen in the wall there. As we're going to go further back now, as we're going to go on board with I don't know. We're going to go on board with Mocky Meeks going up the hill. We've got a bit of battle further back. I think Berez having a bit of trouble into turn 1. Elmo's ran wide up the hill, so that'll be a warning for him. As we're going down now, the Camel Straight for the first time. We've got Mocky Meeks who's under threat now from Ben Gallagher, who's had a pretty decent start. And there's Knuffle, and oh, there's the spinners. And Mocky Meeks and Ben Gallagher get away with it. And it was Elmo and Knuffle now right at the back, but we're going to go further forward as we've got a few battles with Picky G and Barra there, Skin Up. And then further forward, it's all happening in behind though, I feel. As Skin Up gets a 5 seconds up and go, and there is Pecky G in the wall. Unfortunately for him, the Finn has tapped the wall, but Akil struggling on the high fuel there. And the tyres, as it looks like Berra's got recovered slightly from that horrific start they had. Mystic Man's managed to get his lead. Mocky Meeks has managed to get his position back. The person who's had a brilliant start is Ben Gallagher, who's gone like a rat, like his arse on fire, and managed to get himself up to P3 from 8th on the grid, I think it is. So he's made the biggest amount of games so far, but the top 2 are slightly pulling away from him, which we expect. But Mocky Meeks will be hoping to make his move at some point on Ben, on them super softs. As Mystic Man sets the fast start, predictably, obviously, being in P1. But we're starting to spread out as Justin retires, and that's not any surprise to anybody with his confidence at the minute. But we're going to keep an eye on Mocky Meeks as we go up the hill. It's between 3/10 between Ben and Mocky Meeks at the minute. Will Mocky Meeks be able to make that move? And oh, he catches the slide up there. That was an impressive save, to be fair to him, as he was thinking about the move there. As Berra now goes past, and that'll spread the field out quite a bit. But it gives Skin Up that P4 instead of Mocky Meeks, who lost it going into Rouge, and to Radion, should I say, and nearly crashed. But it was an impressive save, to be fair. And that should overheat his tyres a bit, but he can fade them back in, I suppose. As we've got a keel there, and Ben Gallagher's already picked up a 3-second time penalty for running wide there. Skin Up will be fairly happy with his start, and the top 2 are getting away, so Mystic Man will be hoping consistency is key for him, for the Finn, and he'll be hoping that he can claim this victory today. As we've got a few battles further back between Berra and Mocky Meeks. Mocky Meeks is trying to make up for that mistake now after spinning at the top. Oh, he crashed there a few seasons. I think it was last season in his Renault, I remember now, and they nearly did it again. But with a bit of slipstream now, will he be able to make anything happen? And Akil's just in behind this lot. There's Muggin picks up a 3-second time penalty as well. As it doesn't look like for now he can make that move stick. Ben will be chuffed with his start, but the top 2 are really getting away now. They seem to have more pace than everybody else, as DRS is enabled, which will make things really interesting going up there to the top of the hill this time around, with Mocky Meeks now following in behind Berra. Will he be able to make a move? He looks a bit too far back. Will he lose it this time? No, he doesn't. He was quite stable this time around, as it looks like he's a bit too far back on this occasion, as Elmo is making his move on Packy G. As he goes past. Oh, there's Edgar all over the show, and it nearly takes that Muggin, but to be fair to him, he kept it out. As Alfie Jensen has come into the pits, as he's had a pretty shocking start, and so is Knuffle. As we're keeping an eye on this top 5, who are not all together, but there's some nice battles in there. There's Barrett. Oh, look at that back end, and the medium tyres can't cope. But it's interesting to see how long these super softs can go. because their mediums will come into their own back in the stint. And one person who's struggling is Ben Gallagher, who's gone into the gravel. And Skin Up's been able to get that position, so is Berra. And here goes Mocky, waits around the outside and doesn't quite be able to squeeze through, and that's allowed Berra to get away. As Elmo has got past Muggin, and he's already up to P8 from that start, which saw him spin back down the order. Mocky Mix isn't brave enough to make that move. Some might be, including me. As Mystic Man still leads, still pulling out a little bit of a gap to Dusty, obviously on them supers compared to Dusty Softs. He really needs to get away by 2 or 3 seconds to try and counteract the later stints on the harder tyres. But Ben needs to really recover from his earlier misdemeanours. And same with Berra, and Elmo's got a penalty, but Skin Up's now up into P3. Maybe he could be the one to start closing in on the top 2, but they'd have to really start battling for them to really close in. And the closest battle on track is between Berra and Ben. It seems like Ben's closing back in on Berra after that incident where he just made a slight mistake, and Carl might have got a little bit loose on him and he got himself in the gravel, unfortunately for him. Because I'm dealing with some admin stuff as well. As it looks like Mystic Man's made a slight mistake, because Dusty is now within DRS range, and now he isn't. So maybe he just went for the exit, or he's running a significantly less downforce on the straights, Mystic Man, possibly. As Ben is now looking for the move on Berra. Is he going to go down the inside? Dive bomb from Ben Gallagher. Doesn't leave Berra any room. As Berra goes around the outside, we're going to go from the outboard shot now to see this one. As Ben looks like he hasn't got the move on Berra, but he's going to try it around the outside, which is brave from Ben, but it's not going to work. But going up the hill, it should make something interesting. As there's 6 tenths, 5 tenths, it's closing all the time with a bit of slipstream. Hopefully Ben doesn't lose it at the top of the Radion here, but he doesn't. Keeps it nice and tidy. Holds his nerve with a bit of DRS now. Should fly past Berra surely. As it closing. Berra holds a nice line, and into Lake Calm is pushing him round, but just isn't able to get through on the Dutchman as he makes a mistake on the exit. As Ben looks now around the outside of a corner I can't remember the name of, and yeah, he's not quite been able to pounce on that mistake, is Ben. And Mocky Meeks is falling back from Ben now, so for what look like a promising start from Mocky Meeks, he's slipping back slightly as we're looking at a Keel who's just slipped down Elmo, should I say. Ooh. There's he goes into P7. But the gap between the front two now is 8 tenths. I don't know if it's going to go back up again. It looks, it's not going up, is it? It's just staying relatively the same. As it looks like MVP made a bit of a mistake there, going into Blanchemont, just ran slightly wide. And these two will be fighting for quite a while, I'm presuming, as the lap times will just come down and down and down. Obviously them soft tyres will start to come into their own at some point, as Ben and Berra go for round 2. This time I think Ben will be going for the exit rather than the overtake down into turn 1, and it looks like it's just a bit further back this time around, as we've got some pitters of them super softs are starting to go. So Mocky Meeks has called it, and so is Elmo and Akil. First of the pit stops, and Ben and Berra will be fighting for a bit more, probably for until lap 10, 11. As Ben looks down the inside of Lake Com, and doesn't make it happen this time around, but these two are having a nice little ding dong and I can only think that Mystic Man can't go much longer on these tyres, so I'm expecting him to be into the pits. So Dusty is really on the back now of Mystic Man, who's struggling slightly on them supers. I'm expecting him to come into the pits so he doesn't lose any more time, unless he does an extreme defensive job. Then yeah, as Ben's actually slipped back from Berra now, as everything's spreading out. It'd be interesting to see how Mystic Man comes out in all this, as Dusty goes really aggressive on the brakes. Mystic Man stays out on track, so maybe he just wants to extend the stint as long as he can. Maybe trying to go on the soft tyres till the end. Maybe that's his strategy. I'm not 100% sure, but that could be a possibility, I think. But he's pulled out a nice gap there on Dusty coming to the pit lane, but Packy and Edgar having a little bit of a ding dong. Ben is yet to pit, and he's starting to really struggle on them softs as he's losing time to Barron now. I don't know if he made a mistake at some point, but he was just falling back all the time. And Elmo and Mucky Mix are together now. I don't know if Mucky Mix made a mistake again, because he's now with Mucky Mix, and after he span on lap 1, Elmo is doing rather well to keep up, but he's gone on to the super softs, I'm pretty sure. So he's going to be doing a 2-stop, whereas Mucky Mix has gone to mediums and going 1. And Akil's gone on softs, and I don't know how long they go until the soft runners start pitting. Then we'll start to know there's an incident in sector 2, and it's Mystic Man is in the wall, and it looks like he is going to be, well, he's going to fall down the order. He's gone behind Ben now. He was in the lead of the race, and I think he was just pushing the tyres just slightly too much, and that's him out of contention for this win anyway. And it looks like Dusty now has the win in his grasp, and as he spins. But it looks like it's fairly one-sided now. Obviously a pole man binning it in the wall, and the pressure got to him in the end. He'll be coming into the pits. He was on the exit of Puon, so I'm presuming he just slid across the track. I don't know if Dusty got any damage or anything in that Sauber, but he looks okay. There's Mystic Man now pits. Be interesting to see where it comes, where Mucky Mix is. I think it'd be behind them lot. So that robs us of a bit of a battle up front. I think he was coming into the pits this lap anyway. And he's going to go on the soft tyres, so like I said, going from supers to softs. But that's probably him out of the contention for the winners. We've got a bit of a battle here between Edgar, Elmo and Mucky Mix, as Edgar is going a bit slow up the hill here. Will Elmo be able to pounce on this? I like to think so, as he goes into Lake Holm on the Camel Straight, and Mucky Mix is going a bit defensive because he knows that they're coming. As interesting, Edgar. Interesting strategy, I must admit. I think he missed his braking zone slightly, but he managed to avoid everyone. Fair play to him on that one. But Mucky Mix is now a legitimate P5 instead of P6 because of that mistake by Mystic Man. As Ben Gallagher is now up into P4, so it's just a race of mistakes at the minute. Who's going to make the least? I think Dusty will... Oops. Oops. As I accidentally pressed my wheel. Unfortunately, so we're back. And Mystic Man is now looking at Edgar, so he is in this little bit of a ding dong of a battle. Mind you, Edgar's fell. What has Edgar done? He's gone backwards. He was right with Mucky Mix and Elmo, and now he's about 8 seconds off that. As Mugen has come into the pits. As Mystic Man makes his move on Edgar, trying to make her a bit of a recovery drive for himself. As Mugen makes his first and only pit stop, but Elmo's actually managed to get past Mockumix here, but on top of the hill I expect Mockumix to fly back past. And he doesn't make the same mistake as he did on lap 1, on the medium tyres as well. It's fairly impressive that he's keeping up with Elmo, as we can't get a half decent camera angle. As going into Lake Com, and he's made the move stick as Mockumix, so he's back past in his Haas. As Ben runs wide. It looks like Berra's got away from Ben, and he's starting to make inroads into Skin Up. Skin Up's actually closed in a little bit on Dusty. It was like over 5 seconds, so it's a little bit of an inroads. As I don't know what's happening back here, but Knuffle, Mugen, and not Alfie, Knuffle and Mugen are having a bit of a ding dong, and with Packy G as well in that. But Mystic Man now is looking at Akil going into the final sector, as Mystic Man picks up a penalty. Oh, and that was so close to losing it into the wall again for Mystic Man. He's really pushing because he knows he's really frustrated, but the worst thing you can do is get really frustrated, as Mockumix has actually closed enough in on Ben Gallagher probably to overtake him on track. Well, not on track, but in the pit stops, as Mystic Man makes his move on Akil round the outside, and it looks like Akil's played it really smartly actually. He's forced him onto the curb, as Elmo is looking at Mockumix again, and it might have been wise for Mockumix to give the position to Elmo and then get him back at the top of the hill. But if you remember back to season 2, which we wasn't streamed, I held up Mockumix with half front wing for the whole race. So track position is important, but going up the top of the hill, it looks like Elmo's going to get the position unless Mockumix dive bombs, and he attempted it. I'm not going to lie, he did go for it, but didn't quite pay off on that occasion, as Mystic Man has managed to get around Akil now, and I'm sure that was a great battle as well. But Skin Up is now keeping up fairly with Dusty. It'll be interesting to see what penalties are like. Dusty's got 2 warnings, Skin Up's got 2 penalties, so he doesn't really need to be picking up anymore. Same with Barry's got a penalty, Ben's got 2. I don't know what Mockumix and Elmo have got. Elmo has to pit again, so it's pretty irrelevant for him. Mockumix hasn't actually picked up a penalty yet. Elmo has. So our leader is actually in the pit lane, so we'll see where he comes out in all this. Will he be anywhere? I don't think he'll be anywhere near Mockumix, who's coming down the Camel Straight, or not Camel Straight, Blondjamon now, behind Elmo. He's putting the medium tyres on, and a bit like that, but he's coming out of the pits, and there's Ben actually pits as well. Mockumix should be fairly near Ben. This is a battle for legitimately P4, I think. As Ben is coming out of the pits now, and there goes Mockumix, and there's Ben, and it looks like Ellie's in between Elmo and Mockumix now. So he comes out back in P5, as Mockumix, that's a silly corner cut for him. Trying to catch up to Ben, but he's got the momentum on Ben, and a bit of DRS might be able to put him into striking range, but it doesn't look like it, 'cause Ben's got a bit of DRS on Elmo. But these two, we are really together. Ben picks up a penalty as well, so that evens it out a bit. Going into the corner, I can't remember. And yeah, it looks really, really close. As Barra's starting to make a bit of a move onto Skin Up. And the problem with Dusty is he's got mediums. Oh no, he started with softs, didn't he? I've just realised. So that's basically a waste for Dusty there. Unless the more durable tyre works better at this track, I'm not sure. But You could go softs and supers if you risked it for a chocolate biscuit. As Skin Up would do the same thing, I'm presuming. But the thing with Berra is him closing in on Skin Up. So he'll be about 5-6 seconds back from Dusty, but he'll be on the supers. So maybe he can make something happen. As Skin Up's actually got a stop and go, which I didn't know about. So the difference between Berra and Dusty is 11 seconds, so it's about 6-7 seconds or something like that. As Elmo actually goes past Skin Up now, and Skin Up's actually going to fall down the order. Here he's going to go behind Elmo and Ben and Mockimies. If Mockimies doesn't get him, he is so unlucky. He's going to go for it though. Oh, he should have went for that. Come on, Chris. You should have just stuck your nose in it. Oh, that would have been exciting, but he's going to get him on top of a Rouge, surely. Radion, if we can get a better camera. He's going to break later. Skin Up now. Skin Up actually gets the position. Mocking Weeks. I think the story of his race is he made a mistake at the beginning and then hasn't been aggressive enough to really make anything a go of anything. I mean, he could have probably got Ben if he'd have went for it. He probably should have got Skin Up there if he'd have went for it. I mean, it's the sort of move I'd go for. Heart in mouth move, you know, as Skin Up goes quite slow on them cold tyres. And yeah, I'm expecting Barrett to actually come into the pits now and go on them softs, or in the next couple of laps. Well, it could go on softs, I suppose. That's an interesting thought. I just need to check my messages. As Dusty sets the fastest lap of the race. We've got a bit of a battle for P5 with Ben at the front. Obviously this will be actually a battle for the podium because Elmo's got a pit again. As he's coming to the end of his super soft stint as Skin Up there. I think he might have lost off front wing as he outbroke himself at the back of Ben. Doesn't look like it. There's actually Mystic Man's on the back of this as well. So this would have been a four-way scrap if Skin Up would hold his nerve there. But here goes Mocky Meeks on Ben Gallagher. Down the inside from Mocky Meeks. And that will be for a potential podium. As Ben, manages to get back past Mocky Meeks there. As a little bit aggressively, I think Mocky Meeks went a lot slightly deep. There's now Mystic Man with the aggressive dive down the inside, and Mocky Meeks not aggressive enough, unfortunately for him. Manages to just slip in right behind these three, or these two, and Skin Up's going to be closing in again of this little bit of a ding dong. As Mystic Man runs slightly wide. This is something. Oh, it's going to rain. As I've just seen it, it's going to rain. The rain is now coming down, and this will favour Berra big time. And also my favour Elmo, but I think his tyres will go off before then. And there's lights of Mystic Man as well on them, and them soft tyres possibly as well. But this will favour Barrett for sure. He can go most of the race. As there's an incident in sector 2 and 3. I don't know if it's any front wheel runners. It doesn't look like it. I think it was just Muggin retiring. But Mockimeets is struggling now. He's really dropped back. There's Mystic Man, Ben, and Elmo's just trying to stick it out to try and get to the intermediates or something. I think that's his plan. But it's not really working out so far for him. Obviously, in these conditions, anything can happen. You remember in Season 1 last season, as Ben now has a almighty run on Elmo. I don't know if it was lag, but Santagisto pinned it in the lead, and then Fodbold went from third to first in what was about 10 seconds. As Elmo has now conceded a position to Ben. Obviously, Elmo really struggling now. He'll be holding up Mystic Man an absolute treat. Mystic Man really needs to make his move. down the inside. Elmo goes for it on Ben though, and that is really cheeky. And Elmo manages to get the position as does it in the corner of No Name, and here goes Mystic Man down the inside of Ben, and Ben has really lost out, but here goes Mystic Man on Elmo. Oh, very close, and it looks like Elmo has managed to keep the position, and for now it looks like that Elmo is just holding on by the skin of his teeth. Ben was slightly unlucky that Elmo dive bombed, to be honest, but yeah, it didn't work out for him as we're going down into Blondjamon. Here goes Mystic Man, he's round and in the wall, and oh, Ben's off as well. And oh, they're both gone. They both ran, they took liberties with the track, and ended up both in the wall. Mocking me to slip behind, skin up. It's chaos as it's all leveling out. Elmo's coming to pits. It looks fairly close to intermediates right now, so I won't be surprised if that's what they did. As Akil is in, Mystic Man's in, Elmo is coming. Let's see what tyres is going on. He is going on the intermediate tyre. We'll see how this works for them, but it doesn't look wet enough now, but it's not far away. So the people who were in pole position early are Skin Up, Mocking Me. Some Berra has turned it around with this wet weather. He's got an Elmo has now come up with Edgar, and Edgar should get Elmo pretty easy because them Inters aren't ready. Unless I'm wrong, as Dusty's pushing slightly too hard as he got a penalty there. But it all happened in there in the left space of nothing. As Ben, oh well, as in the Ben's race, he's gone on the wet tyres. Oh well, Ben. I think that may have been an accident, but Elmo in P6 at the minute. He's struggling slightly, and oh, Mocking Me's lost all his front wing. And that's promoted Akil to 4th. What is this race turning into? Berra comes into the pits for intermediates. I think Mocking Me's lost it. He must have. But Berra's in slowly, but surely. I think Ben may have retired. I don't quite know what he's doing on them wet tyres, to be honest. But yeah, Berra is in and he's gone on them Inters, and Dusty's just risking it. I don't think the DRS has been disabled yet, so I don't blame him. Mocking Meeks hasn't quite made it round yet, but Elmo's got a big jump on him. Akil's coming to the best. I can't believe Akil is in 4th, to be honest. Honestly, he isn't that quick, but he hasn't crashed. Everyone else has just made mistakes and crashed all over the place, and he's just been trundling around. But oh, I thought he was going to go on the supers then, but he's gone on the intermediates. But it looks like Dusty might have gained slightly. I don't know. He is gaining a bit, yeah. So maybe it was slightly too early. I think it was slightly too early, just simply because there's no DRS disabled yet, as Ben gets second stop and go for corner cutting. Mokovic comes out, Packy G's down there. Knuffle has found himself in 7th. I'm surprised that Alfred Jensen hasn't actually got it anywhere. To any all this drama. But yeah, it should be quieting down slightly as Berra's now started. Oh, that's cramp. As we've got an incident in Sector 1. Oh, it's Packy G! No! It was on for a points finish, but there it is, DRS disabled, so this is the time to pit. But Mystic Man and Ben synchronised spinning. It was quite entertaining. As Akil runs wide as he's breaking it now, because Skin Up is actually behind him. As Skin Up now looks around the outside of Akil. So if Elmo didn't make a great call there, he could have been on the podium. But with 5 laps to go, It looks like Berra's going to claim another victory. It says Dusty's still in the pits. He actually is. But look at the gap, 44 seconds from third to second. That's how eventful this race has been. But Skin Up is now looking at Akil, and yet we still have some drivers within a couple of tenths of each other as Akil's braked it into the chicane. Skin Up should know that he's going to try it around the outside, and if he got traction around there, then that would be interesting. We've got an incident in sector 2 and 3. And we've actually got Monkey Meats and Knuffle. I think it might have been Knuffle who was all over the place. As Knuffle actually comes into the pits. Maybe stop and go. But Monkey Meats back up in 7th. There he goes, Dusty! Oh, he's all over the curb in pit 1, and that is a risky thing to do. As Edgar goes up, gets promoted. I think there's someone all over the track there. But it looks like Berra's going to win. Knuffle comes out in 9th. Arthur Jensen somehow still going, is in 10th. Ben Gallagher's given up on the wet tyres. Knuffle's gone out on the wet tyres. What's the thinking behind the wet tyres? Do they think it's going to get wet? Oh, Ben's got 5 seconds stop and go. He's just serving it. So Skin Up hasn't managed to get past Akil. Somehow. But this is really the only battle on track. So we'll stick with it. I'm dying in the commentary box now, as all the action has happened before us. But just to remind you, we've got a T1 race coming at 8:15. Me and Owen are going to be in the commentary box as well. Owen will probably be a bit late, as we've got an incident in sector 2. Apparently. Dusty picks up another penalty. Oh, he cut top of Rouge, Radion, he cut Radion. As Akil and Skin Up go at it once more. But Akil will be so happy with P4. You can't even imagine. But yeah, it makes practice worthwhile, I suppose. As we go up Radion, Rouge, and then Radion once again. As Skin Up, I thought he'd lost the car. It was on the limit. I told you, I got a bit scared for him there. But actually, Mystic Man's coming into this battle as well. To see what race he's at, as Akil has gone to Narnia and he's come back on track. Surprised he didn't get a penalty for that. As Skin Up loses the car on the exit, and Mystic Man looks the more consistent of the three, I'd say. We'll have a look at the penalties. Akil hasn't actually picked a penalty up somehow. Skin Up's got a 10-second penalty. I think he may have served it. Oh yeah, he did serve it. Yeah, he did. He's got 2 penalties. Mystic Man has 2 as well. So this is fairly even, but the only person really is Akil. If he can just hold him off, P4 is his. His for the taking, really. As we go now into Blanchimont once more, and you can see it really is going really well. It probably was going to go to wet tyres, but people that did go wet tyres were pretty stupid, I think, going that way. But oh my God, look at Skin Up round the outside of Akil. I think there's a bit of a touch. Oh no, Akil, he's out. No. Oh, he was doing so well, and then he went through Blanchimont side by side, and oh no. Akil, and that takes us down to 10 drivers and puts Ben in the points. I'm so happy for him as well. But that promotes Smoky Meats into 6th as well. But yeah, in these conditions anything can happen, but that was just unfortunate. I was so happy for Gill. He kept it nice and clean all right. This is sector 2. I don't really know what it could be. Ben Gallagher possibly. Yeah. But yeah, now the only battle on track is this one between Skin Up and Mystic Man for P4. As we're now down to 10 drivers, obviously. Unfortunate for Akil. It just, I think he just went a little bit deep. If he was on his own, then it would have been okay. But 2 cars going through there in these conditions is not an easy thing to do. I've managed it before, but I'm a crazy bastard. So, as anybody would know, as Bengali is actually P9 now. As me and Black November did it 2 or 3 times last season here in the rain-soaked race. That was very interesting. As oh, Mystic Man, don't go again! As he keeps it out of the wall this time. But it's not easy conditions, we've got to admit at this point. It's survival of the fittest at the end. There's, oh, Dusty! He's binned it at the top of a Rouge! Surely. And that will promote Elmo to P2. And like I said, these conditions are not easy at all. I can confess to that one. And I think it binned it at the top of here. As you see, the stricken Sauber just lost it at the top. And he'd driven a superb race, I'm not going to lie. But yeah, that promotes Skin Up onto the podium. As Mystic Man looks all over the place all the time. But Skin Up, I don't know what to expect. Now we've got 9. He's done a Santagistu. A similar point in the race as well, to be fair to him. He's recreating the moment. But I can't believe that's happened again, like, P2, 2 laps to go, 3 laps to go, and bang, Alpha Rouge. And that's the end of that, and yeah, that promotes Ben up to P8 somehow. But survival of the fittest. And Berra was well and truly the fittest today. He's the only one who hasn't made a mistake all race. He's the only one. I think that only the start when he went bogged down to P9. But except for that, he hasn't made a mistake. And clearly the class of the field as he comes around on lap 21. I think he's just started it. He's midway through it now. As Elmo takes it cautious, although he gets a twitch at the top. But anything can still happen in this race. Mark my words, I would not be surprised. As there you go, Skin Up Alpha Rouge, just waiting for one of them to bin it, and it doesn't look like it will happen this time around. And Monkey Mix is quite far away now from anything. Mystic Man should have had the race win. He had the strategy for it, and it just went out of the window. In my eyes, if he'd have got it right, him and Barrow would have been extremely close at the end. I just think he had the strategy over Dusty. If he'd have made it work, he'd have been on the softer tyres. He'd have been gaining all the time, rather than being on the same tyres like Dusty was on the mediums. He was going to struggle to close, and then in these conditions, he could have made something happen. But believe it or not, there's a bit of a battle further back between Knuffle and Ben as they keep trading positions. But Alpha Jensen's actually in P7, and he's been nowhere. I mean, seriously, I mean, I'd have retired if I was him. But as we are actually now on to the last lap, as Berra negotiates to rally on for the last time, and he'll be glad about that, I can assure you. And here's Elmo. He'll be helping to do the same. So we skin up and miss it, man. I'm dying. That's interesting, but yeah, it looks like they're all going to negotiate it without any sort of problem. There goes Mystic Man, and Bengala gets a penalty, but that is irrelevant at this point. But yeah, well, like I said, we'll be back at 8:15 for T1 action. I'll be here from the start. I think we might be slightly late. I'm not 100% sure. C's race literally finishes bang on then. But while I've been rabbiting, Berra has actually crossed the line and won, and it's been a masterclass from him, going for the one-stop strategy with mediums at the start and then minters at the end. Managed to pull it off, and we've got to wait 40 seconds for the next person to come across the line. But Knuffle and Ben have both finished in P8 and P9 respectively, as Elmo lost a bit of concentration there. He ran the grass, which is dangerous. And it looks like Elmo is now going to come across the line for P2. Unless penalties start coming to play here, it looks like it's going to be fairly thingy, but 38 seconds, a big gap. But here goes Skin Up, and let's see if Mystic Man can get that P3. He does! By 2 seconds, Mystic Man managed to get P3 off of Skin Up, and to be fair, that's a very good recovery time for what he's been through this race. And Mucky Meeks will be in the middle of nowhere. I'm getting surprised if any of these guys will finish at this point. Ben, why have you joined now? Couldn't you have waited?
Because I finished.
Couldn't you have waited 5 minutes for me to finish?
Right, finish then, I'll mute the mic.
As he comes across the line for P6 actually, as Edgar somehow got P5 in the end. Which is quite surprising, seeing as he didn't know what track it was 5 minutes ago before the race started. But yeah, it was another commanding drive from Berra, showing everybody how to do this race with the one stop. Elmo, and it was to be fair, yeah, it was a very eventful one. As you can see, the timings do not represent how eventful really it was. A lot of penalties, but there was a few clean races, including Edgar actually. But yeah, it was extremely. As a Dutch winner, a Dutchman in P5. As yeah, that's the end of that one, as Barry extends his championship lead significantly this time round. And yeah guys, I hope everyone enjoyed the race. I'll see you in about half an hour's time, after I've had a little bit of a break for T1. So yeah, see you later. My English is terrible. No.